I've only used one strategy for 5 years, just one system on one asset. Every single trade I've taken has the same rules and the same process. No reading candlesticks, no trying to outsmart the market, and no staring at charts waiting for something to happen. And I know that probably sounds wrong. You've been told your whole trading career that you need to read the market and understand price action and adapt to different conditions. But here's the thing, that's exactly what keeps most traders broke. Look at what they're doing. Multiple assets and multiple strategies. Futures, stocks, options, all at different times. Constantly switching time frames, constantly adapting, and constantly thinking. And they wonder why they're not consistent. You can't master anything when you're doing everything. You can't build confidence in a process when the process changes every single trade. I learned this the hard way. I spent years jumping around, break even at best, and blown accounts at worst. Then I cut everything out. I went all in on one asset and one simple strategy. Same exact setup every single day for 5 years straight. And that's when the consistency finally came. I didn't get smarter or find some hidden secret. I just stopped overcomplicating it. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that system is from start to finish. And by the end of it, you're going to have a complete strategy to dominate 2026. Before we begin, quick disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. Everything I share is purely for educational purposes. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, if it's so simple, why isn't everyone doing it? And truthfully, it's because simplicity doesn't feel like progress. Think about it. When you're learning to trade, what do? You watch more videos, you add more indicators, you learn more setups, you study more assets. And it feels productive. It feels like you're getting closer, but you're not. You're just accumulating stuff. More information, more tools, more things to think about. And none of it is making you better. I did this for years. Every time I had a losing streak, I'd go looking for something new. A different indicator, a different market, or a different approach. And it always felt like I was about to figure it out. Like the next thing was going to finally be the thing. But all I was really doing was running in circles and adding more complexity for nothing. Basically just making it harder on myself. And when the breakthrough finally came, it didn't come when I found something new. It actually came when I stopped looking, when I finally said, screw all this. I'm going to trade one thing, one way, and I'm going to do it until I master it. That's when everything changed. I've traded basically everything. Forex, futures, stocks, options, you name it, I've probably blown an account on it. But when I discovered the ES, also known as the S&P 500 futures, I stopped looking. It moves clean, it's liquid, and it's predictable, not in some crystal ball kind of way. But the way it moves and the structure of it is something that just makes sense. You're not going to get some nonsense technical issues that you see in other markets like manipulation, random spikes, large spreads. I mean, trading is already hard enough as it is, and it's basically impossible when the market itself is working against you. You just get structured, tradable movement with very few issues. And that's why I chose this as my one asset to trade and ignored everything else. This is the one thing I laser focus on. So now that you know the asset, let me show you the system. And honestly, I almost don't want to tell you how simple it is, because when I first found this, I didn't believe it either. I kept thinking, there's got to be more to it. There's got to be a catch. But there wasn't one. The hardest part is just accepting that's all there is to it. So the entire system is just 3 steps. Every trade I take, I'm just running through these 3 things. Is price at a level? Do I have confirmation? And if yes to both, I execute. If not, I move on. It's just level, confirmation, and execution. I call it LCE. That's the strategy I've been trading for 5 years. Now let me show you how it works in the real market. So let's start with the first step, which is level. This is what I call a supply and demand chart. The first thing I do is mark levels that have a lot of institutional activity and volume. This is the most important part, because when you really look at it, the price is just being moved around by large institutions. And this movement isn't random. There are certain levels that institutions find important, and they'll test it over and over again, because that's where they grab liquidity. All you need to do is find these levels, mark them once, then you know exactly where the price is likely to go in the future. Now I have a whole video that goes deeper into how I find and mark these levels, so I'll link that here if you want the full breakdown. But for now, just know that step 1 is having your levels mapped out. Once you have them, You're not randomly guessing and hoping anymore. You know where the price is headed. So our goal here is just to find one clean level-to-level opportunity for the day, trade it, then turn off our screens. Now for the ES, we don't want to trade until the market open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. This is when we'll get lots of volume flooding in, so the market will move more decisively, and that'll give us cleaner trades. And here, realistically, the market can only do a few things. It'll either gravitate toward the supply level above or the demand level below. Once it's at one of these points, it will either break out to the next level in that direction, or it'll fail to break out and move back into the range. So every single day, the market boils down to these four options. That's it. The price can have a lot of interesting and random movement in between, but we don't care about any of that. It's just noise and it's a distraction. All we're concerned with is which one of these four possibilities will occur today, because each of these supply and demand levels on ES has about 20 to 30 points between them. And on average, the market typically moves about 1% per day, or around 60 to 80 points. That means we're looking at an average of 2 to 3 clean, level-to-level opportunities, which is more than enough to hit our one trade a day threshold. Now our concern for the day is figuring out which of these four possibilities will happen, and we can actually simplify it even further. There are two types of LCE trades. We either have a breakout or we have mean reversion. A mean reversion trade is when the price fails to break out and returns to the level it came from. A breakout is when the price breaks out to the next level. And the thing is, a mean reversion trade is messy. The price is chopping around, reversing, and faking you out. It's harder to hold, harder to manage, and just not worth the stress. So I don't trade them. I only take breakouts. Breakouts are clean. Price hits a level, confirms, and moves to the next one. You know exactly where you're getting in, and you know exactly where it's going. No watching the trade chop around, hoping it works out. It either breaks and runs, or it doesn't. When price breaks structure, it's clear. When it's stuck inside, it's just unpredictable chaos. So really, we only have two options. Either wait for the price to break the supply level and move to the upper level, or wait for the price to break the demand level and move to the lower level. Since these are institutional supply and demand levels, we know that the price has a very high chance of completing this level-to-level move. Now from here, right before the market open, we just set our alerts, one at the upper level and one at the lower level. There's no need to watch any price action in between, because we're not trading anyway. We only care when the price reaches one of these levels. So now that our alerts are set, we just turn off the screen until one of them gets hit. Now let's see what happens here. We see that the price had a strong surge at the open and ran to the supply level. Our alert triggered. Now our job is to make sure that a breakout will indeed happen and won't fail. There's no guaranteed way to know this, of course, but we can increase our probability. And the way we do this is by using the cloud. The cloud just smooths out all the price action so we can get a clean read of the market's overall trend and momentum. If the cloud is sloping up and trending, then a breakout is more likely. If the cloud looks flat or indecisive, then a breakout is less likely, and mean reversion is more likely. So we see that the cloud was flat and indecisive before, but recently began sloping up strongly. This tells us that bulls are serious, and that there's enough momentum and structure here to support another level-to-level breakout higher. This is the second step of the LCE model, which is confirmation. Once we have confirmation that the price has a high probability of breaking out using the cloud, then we can move on to execution. We enter long with a stop right near the cloud and under the market structure here. If the price breaks under this point, then it's very likely that this breakout failed. That's our invalidation. Our target is at the next supply level, since that's a complete level-to-level breakout. Then, once we enter and have our stop and target set, we simply shut our screen again until one of them hits. This is how I went from constantly blowing accounts to taking consistent payouts. Same strategy, same process, for 5 years straight. Most days I'm done trading before lunch. 1 or 2 trades, screens off, move on with my life. No more jumping between markets chasing setups. No more doubting every entry. No more sitting there for hours watching candles do nothing. You find your level, you wait for confirmation, and you take the trade. Then you close the charts and go live your life. That's it. That's what trading is supposed to look like. Now, I don't share most of what I know on YouTube. The deeper mechanics, how to apply this, how to stay consistent, how to avoid the mistakes that blow accounts, that's inside the LCE Accelerator. It's a one-on-one program where you get weekly calls, a private chat with me, access to my exact supply and demand chart, and a community of traders who all follow the same system and hold each other accountable. We also have a live trading room where you can follow and trade with other LCE traders every day. If this video helped you, drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.